bored. I know, you're stuck at home. And this is just the first day of a couple of weeks at least that you're going to be stuck at home. And I know those words, they might have already come out of your mouth a few times. And I'm sure they're going to come out a few more times over the next few weeks. But I want to challenge you kids to think about all the things that you can do even while you're stuck at home. You know, you live in an incredible time in history. You have access to the internet, you have access to programs, you have access to even just your ability to get resources like paper and pencils and crayons and all those things, toys that you can play with. You live in the greatest generation in all of history with your access to things. And you have no reason to be bored. And so when you find yourself feeling bored, maybe mom and dad say it's time to shut off the TV or no more video games, and you're bored, I want you to think of a few things you could do. And here's some ideas. Read a book. And not just a quick little storybook. If you're old enough, find a chapter book. Find a book that really tells a story that interests you. For me, when I was in 4th grade, I found a book called Hatchet by the author Gary Paulsen. It's about a boy who finds himself crash landed and all alone in the middle of the Canadian wilderness, and he has to survive with nothing but a hatchet. And that book, still to this day, is one of my favorite reads of all time. It was the book that started me loving a good storybook, and to this day I love to read. And so I want you to find a book that captures your imagination. And if you're reading a book and it really isn't interesting you, maybe find a different one. It's okay to not finish a book, but it's not okay to just not find something to do. Also, I want to encourage you to draw a picture. You know, you kids, you are so much more artistic than you realize. But art, like so many things, is all about practice. You don't get good at art by just sitting around and watching other people draw. You actually have to draw. And so I really want to encourage you to when you're bored, the next time you're bored, instead of saying I'm bored, go find a pen and a paper or pencil or crayons or something and draw something. Draw something from your imagination. Draw something that you see. Draw a picture of a fruit basket, maybe like one sitting on the table, or a bag of Doritos, or whatever it is. And do your best to make it look right. And then maybe you can get mom and dad's permission to go on YouTube and look up videos of how to draw or how to use shading techniques and things because you have a purpose in your video. You know what? I want to introduce you to an app that's available on your parents' phones or tablets called Duolingo, Duolingo. This is a great app that you can learn another language. I mean, you're going to be home, but what if learning a new language was fun and exciting? My son started last night learning Chinese. And he may not ever be able to speak Chinese perfectly, but he's having a blast learning something. And there's something about your brain when you learn a new language. It actually creates new passageways in your brain that will make you better at everything you're learning. It'll make you better at math, and it'll make you better at science, and it'll make you better at social studies. And so Duolingo is a fun way to do that. There's other things available. That's just one that we have used with success. And so read a book, draw a picture, learn a new language. And here's my fourth. This is my fourth one for right now. And this is my favorite thing to do when I'm bored, is to be bored. What? I don't want to be bored. I know, but do you know some of my best ideas happen when I'm bored? When I allow myself to just lay down or sit in a chair and just use my imagination. I love being bored sometimes. Now, not all the time. Not all the time. I don't love always being bored, but sometimes when I'm bored, my mind starts thinking of things that it wouldn't have thought about if I was watching TV. It wouldn't have been able to come up with this idea if I'd been reading a book. It's only because I was bored I had an idea. And so I want to encourage you kids while you're stuck at home to be bored. To be bored. And then think of some creative ideas and then go do those things. Think of what you're going to draw for 5 minutes before you actually start drawing anything. Think of what you're going to build before you start building. Think about what you're going to play. Think about a character that you're going to act like before you put on a costume. So allow yourself to be bored. So over the next few weeks, I want you to read some books. I want you to draw some pictures. I want you to learn a new language, and I want you to be bored. And hey, ask your parents' permission to send me a message or record your own video and send it on to me, because I want to know, what are you doing while you're stuck at home? How are you using your boredom? Check you soon.